The PFA Team of the Season has been announced, so I have decided to put the entirety of the PFA Team of the Season onto one team to see how they would do in one season in the English Premier Division. So this is what the team looks like. I have put them all on Leeds since Leeds got relegated. I'm sure this team is going to keep Leeds up, but we're going to see if Leeds can make the Champions League, win the title, and potentially win a cup competition with this team, because this is a really good team. In goal, we have standout keeper Aaron Ramsdale. On the right, Kieran Trippier. In the center of defense, we have Man City duo Ruben Dias and John Stones. On the left, we have William Saliba. Anchoring the midfield, we have Rodri before De Bruyne and Odegaard go ahead of him. Saka is on the right, Haaland through the middle, and Kane playing up front next to Haaland. Now, I have put this team very similar to what the PFA Team of the Season once announced as. So there are some interesting things happening here that may cause this team to not do as well as we're expecting. Most notably, we do have William Saliba. They had a four-player back four, with Trippier on the right, Stones and Diaz in the middle, and Saliba was noted as being on the left. But as we can see here with his star rating, he can't play left back. And actually, he can play right back, he can play center back, but he can't play left back. But that is where they put him in the team of the season. So that's where I've stuck him. I have taken a little bit of liberty with Harry Kane. I think up front we can kind of stick him out kind of to the left, but still playing him as a center forward, but having him as more of that deep lying forward player. But I didn't feel like that was really possible with Saliba. So with Saliba, we have him playing on the left, a position he doesn't really know how to play, but he could learn how to play throughout the season. But otherwise, everyone is playing their main position, and this is a spectacular team. I mean, Harry Kane playing as a deep lying forward, potentially feeding balls into Haaland. You have the two best goal scorers there. Saka on the right. I mean, De Bruyne feeding Kane and Haaland is absolutely insane. And we have a pretty solid back four and a good goalkeeper. So as far as I'm concerned, this team with Leeds should be able to do very well this season. So honestly, there isn't really much more to say here other than I would expect this team to do very well. With the PFA Team of the Season, Leeds are now predicted to finish fourth, and a few of their players are in the media Dream 11. We have Diaz, we have De Bruyne, we have Haaland and Kane. I'm a little bit surprised actually that maybe Saka didn't make it in, but otherwise, I'm not surprised at the Dream 11. I'm not surprised he's in the Dream 11. And I'm really curious to see, because if we go back to the tactics screen, we've taken Stones, we've taken Diaz, we've taken De Bruyne, we've taken Haaland away from Man City. How some of these other clubs are going to do. A lot of the players are from City and Arsenal, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do maybe worse than we are expecting. And I think this will give a lot of impetus to teams like, well, obviously Leeds, but Liverpool and Manchester United. I would expect them to do a lot better with now a significantly weakened City and Arsenal squad, given that a lot of their players are now in this Leeds team. So we have Leeds starting 11 here. We are going to see how each team does. I'm going to simulate forward one season, and let's see how FM23 would say this EPL season would go. So I will be back in one season. All right, welcome back. We are one season into the future. How did Leeds do? That is the question. Let's go to last season. All right, Leeds finished second, but they lost 11 games. Unsurprisingly, Liverpool won. Man City, with all of those players out, finishing outside of the top four. Where's Arsenal? Do you see Arsenal? Oh, wow. Arsenal finished 16th. Who's in their squad now? That's shocking. Oh, that's right. So they don't have their goalkeeper. They don't have their best center back. No Saka and no Odegaard. Wow, that's made a huge difference. I'm genuinely shocked at how poorly Arsenal has done, because this is not a team that should be finishing it. They still have fantastic players. I mean, Xhaka and Ketia, Tierney even is pretty. Leandro Trossard. I am so surprised at how poorly Arsenal has done. We have to look at their schedule and see what happened. They had a terrible end to the season. I wonder if being in the Europa League played a role in that then. Because maybe just all the games, losing 4 or 5 players, and they had a terrible start. I'm shocked at how poorly Arsenal has done. And they started the season so well, beating Chelsea 3-0, but going on a torrid run of games. I'd be surprised if Patrick Vieira is the coach now instead of Mikel Arteta. All right, Arsenal is the big shock of what we've seen so far, but Man City also not doing very well. Let's look at their schedule and see how they did. Champions League quarterfinals. I mean, they didn't do horrible. I mean, they still finished fifth, but they certainly had a very difficult stretch of the season between September and October. What does their squad look like now? I mean, they still have a really, really good squad, so no surprise that maybe they finished fifth. They still did quite well, but clearly City affected, but Arsenal the most affected by the PFA Team of the Year going to Leeds. Which, speaking of, let's actually at our PFA Team of the Year Leeds squad. So if we look at the schedule, how did we do last season? Really solid end. Oh, we lost the FA Cup final to Liverpool, who won it all. That would have been an absolutely amazing thing to win. Honestly, really good in the Premier Division. Unfortunate loss in the Caribou Cup, fourth round. But I'll tell you what, they did very well. A lot of losses, definitely a lot of losses, maybe against teams you weren't expecting to lose to. The FA Cup final, maybe a little bit disappointing to lose, but overall, I'd say extremely solid performances from this team. I'm curious to see how some of our big hitters did, especially up top. Harry Kane, how did he do? Really not as good of a season as I was expecting, actually. 24 appearances, only 9 goals and 6 assists, and an okay average rating for Harry Kane. Was he injured? He only played 24 matches. Oh, yeah, he had a broken toe, twisted ankle. Okay, so he was out for a few games. That explains why maybe he didn't do so well. Erling Haaland, how did he do? 38 goals, 7 assists, and the 7.88 overall rating. That's crazy. And he won the European Golden Shoe, English Football of the Year, top goal scorer. No surprises there. We will have to look at that. What about our star boy, Bukayo Saka? He must have done pretty well. Sure enough, 14 goals, 13 assists. Actually, as an inverted winger, that is a fantastic season. He did really well. Any others? I mean, I'm curious to see how Aaron Ramsdale did. 6.96 overall rating. He was all right. Let's go back to Leeds. If we go back to actually the English Premier Division and we look at last season, I'm curious to see how they shaped up as far as goals for. So the top goal scoring team, no surprise there. But how did Leeds do as far as, and a pretty good defensive team, not the best. I can see why the team finished second. But overall, very solid for Leeds. Really solid performances from the team of the year. And I'm very curious to see at the award winners. This is, I think, the last thing we're going to look at. So Erling Haaland, unsurprisingly, Footballer of the Year. Golden Glove went to Allison. And Aaron Ramsdale actually not involved there. That's a little disappointing. Players Player of the Year, Erling Haaland, no surprise. Team of the Year, this is what we want to look at. And just a few of our Leeds players in there. We got De Bruyne, Saka, and Haaland, but we don't see Odegaard. We don't see Kane, unsurprisingly. We don't see anyone from the back four, Ramsdale. Most of it from Liverpool. Not surprised Liverpool won the league in this version. Young Player of the Year, oh, Erling Haaland. No, no surprise there. And of course, our top goal scorer was Erling Haaland. To Adam Armstrong for doing pretty well in this game. Well, there you have it. That was the PFA Team of the Year, all on one team. And overall, I'd say it was pretty good. A team that dragged Leeds to a second place finish. Also made the FA Cup final despite losing it. Erling Haaland being absolutely the best player as usual in this save. But I would say we should give a strong shout out to Bukayo Saka, who was absolutely phenomenal as well. And of course, De Bruyne also making the Team of the Year in this version. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a fun one, putting the PFA Team of the Year on Leeds and seeing how they would do as a team together. But on that note, I hope you all are having a wonderful week, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.